Hey guys, I'm out here tonight and got something special we're going to do. We're going to do a 2 or 3 part video series, and we're going to do a couple of old hickory knife mods. I got 2 old hickory knives here. I got this one here, and we're going to turn this into a more of a bushcraft type knife. We're going to go ahead and probably keep the length, but we're going to take this and we're probably going to cut this down at kind of an angle. I'm not sure what kind of angle I want yet. I'm going to have to lay it out and actually see what I'm looking at, but I'm thinking about taking this straight edge and coming all the way down and going like this, so it's more, and getting rid of all this curl stuff on the top. But anyways, we're going to turn this into a bushcraft knife. The handle on this is pretty solid, so it'll probably stay. I like these old square off handles. I might round it off a little bit, but pretty much going to stay the same. So we're going to do that, and then we're also going to take this knife here and we're going to turn this one into a Mocotaugan. I've been wanting one for a really long time, and so we're going to make one. I really can't afford ones. This is 1095 high carbon steel. It's an old hickory knife too, an older one. So we're going to turn this one into that. And then we'll have 2 tools that we can put in our pack and take with us wherever we want. We can pretty much build whatever we need, you know, when it comes to utensils or anything, traps, whatever. So first we're going to work on this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a sheet of paper, and I'm just going to kind of draw this thing onto the sheet of paper and see what kind of what I want it to look like when it's all said and done. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll come up with some kind of a pattern. Okay, so I put them down on a piece of paper. Right there's the bottom one. That's what it looks like originally, and this is what I'm going to go for the blade profile. It's basically just a drop point, and I'm getting rid of all this extra up here. So I think that's what we're going to go for. Might change it up a little bit as I'm grinding, just to, you know, if I need to, but that's basically what I'm going to go for. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this up to the grinder and go ahead and start grinding on this thing. I think I might take a magic marker though and put a mark on the blade itself, but you know, not a big deal. I'm mostly going to be eyeballing it anyways. So let me get set up over by the grinder, and I will tape part of it while I'm grinding it. Okay, so I'm over here at my grinders and sanders. I got a couple different belt sanders. You could do everything on a bench grinder, and I'll probably do some of it on the bench grinder, some of the heavy grinding. But I got a bucket of water here, so I don't want to mess up the temper on the blade, so I'll grind a little and dip it in the water, grind a little and dip it in the water. And I also have my paper here, and I'll probably just take this blade, and as I get it close to where I want it, I'll lay it on the paper, and I'll eyeball it too and see what it looks like. You know, it's all in what you want. I'm just trying to get a good look to it. So and function. I want it to be something that, the whole idea of a drop point is I wanted to just get rid of this whole hunting butcher type look, and I want to be able to drill a hole with it if I have to. And you know, it's just lots of uses for a drop point knife. And it's thinner. I have another bushcraft knife that I made, but it's a really thick one. It's almost like a pry bar with a handle, which is good for a one tool option. But for something like this, I'm planning on using this for, you know, in my pack right along with my axe or whatever. And the thinner blade is a plus when it comes to carving and stuff. And as we all know, that bushcraft is 99% carving. So okay, let me go ahead and start getting going on this thing, and I'll leave the camera go for a little bit, and then I'll probably end up shutting the camera off. So, no sense of grinding. Like I said, I just keep dipping it in the water, make sure it stays nice and cool. nice really dull, so I'm not really that worried about cutting myself either. Okay, so I'm getting close to about what I want. I don't know if you can tell it. It's getting close. I want to make this point drop a little bit more, maybe flatten this out a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off and work on this a bit. Okay, so I went ahead and I reprofiled it, and I kind of straightened the top of this up a little bit, still a little wider right here, and I put a nice drop point on it. That's kind of what I was looking for. I'm going to hit this with a file, make sure I get a good 90-degree spine on here. And then basically all I got to do is sharpen this puppy up and sand the handle down a little bit and make it fit my hand a little better, which we may do that next. I'm probably do that by hand though. And this thing will be done. Put some oil on it. So let me go ahead and file this, make it nice sharp 90 degree there, and I'll probably sand on this handle a little bit, and we'll see where we're at from there. Okay, so we got a really good 90-degree edge on there now. I don't have a ferro rod on me, so I can't really check it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. If not, we can always touch that up anyways. Okay, so here's our profile, 90-degree edge. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this handle a little bit and get it about where I want it, and sand it a little bit. I might round it just a little bit, but that might be about the most of it. So let me go ahead and start working on that, and I will get right back with you. I'm just taking this big long belt. It's an old belt from my belt sander, and just kind of rounding these over a little bit just to make them feel a little more comfortable in my hands. Yeah, that's a little better. I'll probably take these edges and knock them off and do that with a file. And then I'll get back with you. Now I'm just going to sand this whole thing down. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got the handle basically done. Let me turn this around so you guys can actually see it. I don't know if this will help or not. Okay, so the handle is basically done. It's all rounded here, and I went ahead and chamfered this a little bit this way. And of course, got a nice drop point on it and everything. And it feels pretty good in the hand. I was gonna think about putting the little finger groove in here, and I decided not to. I'm gonna go ahead and let it look a little more traditional. I am going to drill a hole here and put a little steel tube in there for a lanyard. So we're going to go ahead and do that next. And all I'm going to do for that is I'm just going to take a pencil, mark it, drill it, and then I'll put the tube in there. Okay, so I went ahead and I accidentally did it off camera. Sorry guys. I went ahead and drilled this out. Next thing I'm going to do is just chamfer the hole off a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and find a piece of steel tube. I actually have an old piece of brake line, steel brake line, that I think will fit in here decently, kind of tight. And once I get it in there, then I'll take a small ball peen hammer and sort of chisel the ends out, sort of like you're flaring it for an actual brake line. So let me go ahead and chamfer these holes and see if I can't get this to go in there a little bit. Okay, so I drilled the hole, cleaned up the burr around the wooden part, and when I drilled the hole, I drilled the same size as this brake line, by the way. And I went ahead and took a hammer and just tapped it through, and it's through there just fine. So now what I'll do is I'll take it over to the grinder and I'll grind these all the way down to where there's nothing left. And then I will take a ball peen hammer and just tap each end so that it kind of flares a little bit and it'll hold it in place. So let me go ahead and go over to the grinder and I'll grind these. I'll grind this all the way down until it's flush. I might actually cut it off with the hacksaw first, then grind it down until it's flush, and then do the other side too. So let me get right back with you. Okay guys, so I almost have it done. There's what it ended up looking like. It's all in. I got to do a little bit of deburring around it yet, a little bit of light sanding, but it's about done. That'll be good because then I can put a small leather cord out of there, and the whole idea of the cord is I usually wrap around my second finger, and it keeps me from getting my hand to slip up on the knife blade itself. So I kind of like having them on there when possible, and it's got steel liner on it, so it actually kind of helps hold this whole handle back together again good. So let me go ahead and give this thing another quick light sanding, and then we'll go ahead and we'll give it a coat of oil, and then basically all we'll have to do is sharpen this thing and it'll be ready. And that's another thing, I didn't glue this steel tube in, and I did tighten up these pins, but over the next couple weeks I'll keep giving this coats of linseed oil, and it'll keep sucking in and sucking in and sucking in, and it'll make everything swell a little bit. This pin will swell in here, or the wood will swell around this pin real nice and tight, and it ain't never going to come back out. I don't think I could get it out right now even if I tried, at least without breaking the handle. And same with the brass pins, the wood will swell a little bit, it'll help out with the brass pins too to tighten them up. So let me go ahead and lightly sand this one more time and put a coat of linseed oil on it. Okay, I will be right back. Okay, so I got it all done. The only thing that's left is a coat of linseed oil on here. I'm going to do that right now. And then, of course, I got to sharpen the blade, but the blade's it's not sharp, but it won't take much to get it there. So I probably won't do that on camera. But there you go. Let me go ahead and get the linseed oil on here and I'll show you what it looks like. Totally done. Okay guys, so our knife build is done. All I gotta do is finish sharpening it. I already started sharpening it. This is what it looks like. It's all done. It's kind of the profile I wanted. I wanted a drop point, and I wanted that nice big belly on there still. That way I could do a little bit of butchering with it too. Went ahead and put a piece of leather on there. The whole reason for this piece of leather is I take this finger here and I put it in there, and then I bring it around like this and I hold it like that, and it keeps my hand, this could actually be a hair shorter, I'll probably shorten it, but it keeps my hand from sliding up onto the blade. And yeah, it needs to be about a ½ inch shorter, and I can adjust that, but it keeps my hand from slipping up on the blade. And just an extra little safety to help you from getting cut. That, and I like deep sheaths. When I make a sheath for it, it'll probably go all the way up to about here, and makes it a little hard to get out. But if you got one of these on there, you just tug it by that and pull it right out of the sheath. But I like a nice deep sheath. That way I don't have to worry about losing my knife. So there you go. There is first part of the series. This is the old Hickory modification into a Bushcraft style knife. I'll finish sharpening this thing up and it should be all done. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks a lot. Okay guys, so I got it all done. The Bushcraft part of the knife is all done. I figured I'd show it off one last time before the video was over. But here it is. I worked up a sheath for it last night, and it's just a plain style sheath. I'm fond of those sheaths, and I went ahead and sharpened it up. And she's all done. Still has a patina from being old on there, but that's okay. And a razor sharp, nice drop point knife. So there you go, knife and sheath. And I think I paid about 10 bucks for the knife, and the sheath was free. I just kind of sat down and had all the pieces already, so I sewed it up. So that's the first part of our Bushcraft knife build. The second part will be on another video, and that's going to be the Mocotaugan. Okay, thank you. If you like the video, like, subscribe, and share, and thanks a lot.